Bob Southey, you're a poet, poet laureate, and representative of all the race. Although 'tis true that you turned out a Tory at last, yours has lately been a common case. And now, my epic renegade, what are ye at, with all the Lakers in and out of place? A nest of tuneful persons to my eye, like 24 blackbirds in a pie. Which pie being open, they began to sing. This old song and new simile holds good. A dainty dish to set before the king, or regent, who admires such kind of food. And Coleridge, too, has lately taken wing, but like a hawk encumbered with his hood, explaining metaphysics to the nation. I wish he would explain his explanation. You, Bob, are rather insolent, you know, at being disappointed in your wish to supersede all warblers here below, and be the only blackbird in the dish. And then you overstrain yourself for so, and tumble downward like the flying fish gasping on deck, because you soar too high, Bob, and fall, for lack of moisture, quite a dry Bob. And Wordsworth, in a rather long excursion, I think the quarto holds 500 pages, has given a sample from the vasty version of his new system to perplex the sages. 'Tis poetry, at least by his assertion, and may appear so when the dog-star rages, and he who understands it would be able to add a story to the Tower of Babel. You, gentlemen, by dint of long seclusion from better company, have kept your own at Keswick, and, though still continued fusion of one another's minds, at last have grown to deem as a most logical conclusion that poesy has wreaths for you alone. There is a narrowness in such a notion which makes me wish you'd change your lakes for ocean. I would not imitate the petty thought, nor coin myself love to so base a vice, for all the glory your conversion brought, since gold alone should not have been its price. You have your salary, was for that you wrought, and Wordsworth has his place in the excise. You're shabby fellows, true, but poets still, and duly seated on the immortal hill. Your bays may hide the baldness of your brows, perhaps some virtuous blushes, let them go. To you I envy neither fruit nor bows, and for the fame you would engross below. The field is universal, and allows scope to all such as feel the inherent glow. Scott, Rogers, Campbell, Moore, and Crabbe will try against you the questions with posterity. For me, who wandering with pedestrian muses, contend not with you on winged steed, I wish your fate may yield ye, when she chooses, the fame you envy, and the skill you need. And recollect a poet nothing loses in giving to his brethren their full meed of merit, and complaint of present days is not the certain path to future praise. He that reserves his laurels for posterity, who does not often claim the bright reversion, has generally no great crop to spare it, he being only injured by his own assertion, although here and there some glorious rarity arise like Titan from the sea's immersion. The major part of such appellants go to God knows where, for no one else can know. If, fallen in evil days on evil tongues, Milton appealed to the avenger, Time, if Time, the avenger, execrates his wrongs, and makes the word Miltonic mean sublime, he deigned not to belie his soul in songs, nor turn his very talent to a crime. He did not loathe the sire to laud the son, but closed the tyrant hater he begun. That, my friends, is the opening of the dedication to Don Juan. You can see here it is Lord Byron. This is edited by Brian Lee. This is from 1819. Lord Byron is one of the Romantics era of poets, and you may have caught in there references to Coleridge, Wordsworth. Some gentle jabs at Coleridge, and not so wonderful praise towards Wordsworth. And that was what first caught my attention, because even before that, there's a preface to Cantos 1 and 2, and he talks at length about Wordsworth in there. I just, it was entertaining and amusing. And Don Juan, this contains Cantos 1 and 2. And I found out about halfway through Canto 2 because I was looking to see, is this all of it? Because in Canto 1, he references that there's going to be about a dozen cantos. I'm like, okay, is this one of those that just didn't get finished? And it is true, he did not finish all he wanted to of it. But I believe he finished either 16 or 17 cantos. So I've read a fraction. And this is 150 pages to get through 2 cantos. So I imagine the full is going to be quite hefty. And it tells the tale of Don Juan. It is told in an epic scope. This is Byron's epic poem. And it is humorous. It is poking fun in many, many ways. My understanding is Don Juan is had a reputation in life as being a bit of a womanizer. Someone who would frequently be sleeping around with women. And this poem portrays it not that Don Juan is a womanizer, but that he is accidentally falling into these situations where he's being taken advantage of by women. And, I imagine knowing more context of the historical person that Byron is poking fun at here would only lead to even more enjoyment of a poem like this. So Aaron Facer, if you have not read Don Juan by Lord Byron, I think you would absolutely enjoy this. I know what my plan is I'm going to probably drop this in a little free library somewhere and try to eventually get the entire 16, 17 cantos of Don Juan for my shelf. Probably in some kind of a hardcover, and enjoy it in its full at some point in time, revisiting the first 2 cantos. I read all of this in a single day. I had a hard time putting it down. It was very, very enjoyable. You can tell there from the 10 stanzas I read, he follows metrical rhythm and rhyme scheme. So he follows more traditional poetics, which is counter to what a lot of the romantics were advocating for, especially Wordsworth, breaking from tradition. But this is very much in tradition, and it's his epic in a very different way of telling epics, and very, very enjoyable. So if you enjoy poetry, you should definitely check out Don Juan. If you don't enjoy poetry, you probably wouldn't plan on it anyway. But if you're kind of on the fence, I think this would be a good one to pick up and enjoy. I would recommend a couple other epic poems, probably before this one, such as Beowulf, probably Song of Roland. But I think this would be a good one to read alongside all of those. So I want to just hop on here, talk about this. So thank you, and have a wonderful day, BookTube.